when you look at the bracket of teams that were in around. But the flip side of that is if you lose two more games on the trot, you're suddenly looking over your shoulder going, I was hearing about City coming and Man United coming and going, it's the character, and it was like, oh, their big test is going to be against a team like Fulham who play a low block. Have you fucking watched us? We don't play a low block.
Right. It's very interesting these next couple of 4 games after Sunderland, because you're
Yeah.
potentially writing out the story for this relegation battle at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? Whatever
Yeah.
happens at your place.
To be honest, I think we'll beat Spurs at home. I think we'll beat West Ham at home. I think Stoke are winning.
Oh, Stoke are winning. Oh, what a way to end the show. Stoke are winning in the FA Cup.
TG, man, that shit go crazy.
Took my time and got it right.
Hi, James here. Just a quick message to say, have you subscribed yet? If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on oneWAYfootball. As they say at a famous supermarket, every little helps. Thank you very much and enjoy the video.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, well, wherever you're watching around the world. This is 101 Fan Talk, One Way Football's 101 Fan Talk. Today, we are joined here with a massive Fulham fan, and it is Statrdraft. Is it Statrdraft? I always never get the R. It's like
Statrdraft, because you know the
I always
lads
get that
online that call
confused with
themselves like Statman Dave and Statman Jay. It's like the Statters. So we're following the Statters. So Statter and our game draft model. So put them together, Statrdraft.
Good. And how are you getting on, mate? How is the channel doing? Is it good?
Good, yeah. The app actually launched on the App Store, actually, in the app Store and the Play Store in the last week or so. So we're doing closed beta testing at the minute. We've got I think we've got about 100 guys doing like they've done mini drafts, some small leagues. Good feedback so far. So the idea is between now and the end of the season, see how much I can break it, and then roll it out to everybody for the start of next season. So really exciting. Absolute. I don't know if you've got anybody who's ever tried to play FPL and got sick of it. So if you want something a bit different,
I see my FPL. I always like get to like this part of the season. I kind of just forget about it. Like
yeah,
I don't know what it is. It's every season. Like I'll get really into it. I'll start a league up, and it's just usually me that just loses interest in it, and I
yeah,
forget to like sub players or like buy new players, transfer players, like
you're
captain
going to look at
players.
your lineup and you're going to go, right, I have 9 of the same lads as the fella 100 points clear of me. I haven't a chance. And it's that kind of idea of when all the
I was
leagues are
having
the
this
exact same.
conversation with someone before about the FPL, and it's amazing how many people just whack Haaland in. Like it's just Haaland, constant Haaland.
Yeah,
And he was like, I try and mix it up a little bit and go with someone new, but it's hard not to have Haaland not in your team. You're not getting
22
points. Do
goals,
you know what I mean?
22 goals in the league, and it's February. Like, do you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was Salah last year. Salah was the cheat code. If you just captained Salah and left him there, that was it.
yeah,
Everything else was a case of, and like if you were to look at your league now and look at the teams in your league, if you scroll through every team in your league, 9 of your 11 players are going to be basically the same. So you're making up what 2 points a week on your differentials. You might make up 10 on a really good week on a differential. People get
yeah.
bored. It's like I haven't a chance. Whereas in our thing, it's more about your group of mates. You
Mm,
all pick a player. Like one, if you're first pick, I'm second pick. You get your player. That's it. You have him. That's it. End of discussion. If
yeah.
I want him, I have to make a deal with you. I have to come to you with a trade. I have to come to you with a proposal. So it's more of that kind of, love the game and hate your mates type culture. Of one of my favorite ones was Nathan Ake's injury last year. Dumped him on one of the boys while he was on international duty. He was out for the season with an ACL, and I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, I've got myself a bit of John Stones there.
I bet I would love to know how many people put Gokares in their FPL before the season started. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
And now, do you know what I mean? How many people took him out? Like, a majority of
I've
probably the
actually
fan
put him
base did.
in. I went and brought him in the last 2 weeks, but like the Ocaras thing, I think I said it to you the last time. Like people were kind of gassed at him. This is the problem. I think people see a number, and like I'm coming from a stat space, and like there's context in numbers sometimes. So like Gyökeres'
Yeah,
numbers last year in Portugal, they stacked. But when you actually went and looked at the like micro detail, a third were pens, I played 8 games against Braga, Benfica, and Porto. Scored three
Mm.
goals against those big teams, and they were all pens. So he didn't score from open play against any of the big teams in Portugal, but would score 5 in 2 games against Firenze, 8 in 2 games against Rio Ave, and look at his goals in the Premier League. You
Yeah,
know,
that's it.
th-
It's yeah,
three against
it's
Leeds in 2 games, two against
so
Burnley, two
I get
against
so
Forest.
frustrated watching him. It's become a bit of a joke now. But look,
He's
I
kind
don't
of
want to
what you
get too
needed,
much into.
though. No, I
Yeah, I
think he's the
know.
kind of guy you needed for those type of teams. But I think anybody who was thinking you were getting a Haaland, regen coming in, it was like, no, go watch a bit of football outside of, a lot of fans, and like I think we're all guilty of this. We just get so in tune of watching our own team that
Mm,
you don't watch other football. So you see a
yeah,
number or you see a big price tag and go, well, he must be the answer. It's like he's the answer for what this particular
yeah,
thing is looking at. So I've been
hmm
saying all year, I think Lukaku and Gyökeres are very, very similar in the sense that when you look at their numbers, they'll both stack,
yeah,
but it's who they'll score the goals against. So if you're looking at FPL and you're looking at Gyökeres, any of those teams in the bottom eight, bottom nine, bottom,
9. Yeah,
pick him up because
yeah,
that's who he's scoring against. He's
yeah.
going to
You're
score
completely
15
right.
Premier League goals this season, but none will be
Yeah,
against the top half team.
yeah, and there's still a long way to go. So he's going to reach 20, isn't he? I mean, it's probably a standard of any striker that
Yeah,
you should be getting 20. But especially like a big six club, you should be
yeah, yeah.
definitely getting 25 at least. Like, um,
And he'll
but
finish
look,
with those
listen,
numbers, but it'll be the context of the numbers.
yeah,
So
yeah,
look, it's all narrative half the time when it comes to these things. Big transfer,
exactly.
big signing. He's the
But
Haaland
as much as
regen.
I'd love to talk about Arsenal,
Sorry.
and because it does wind me up, and I'm getting agitated just thinking about Arsenal at the moment. Yeah, I do have another podcast later on this evening about Arsenal. That should be fun.
Yeah, good
But
one to watch.
we're here to talk about your beloved club at the moment, Fulham. And
We
not
love
doing too bad.
them.
No, no, we got. I mean, let's put it in perspective, right? We're in February, right? Um, 12th in the Premier League. You've played 26. You've won 10 games, you've drawn 4 and 12 losses.
Yeah,
You're on 34 points, minus 5, whatever, yeah. But
yeah,
look, you at the moment, you've got to think ahead of that. You've got to think about that push that you're going to make now. That you've got to make this push because I know Brentford are playing very well to get into Europe.
yeah.
But Fulham can still do it. Fulham can still get into Europe.
100%. Like, do you know what? And I've been saying on our own podcast, like that middle pack all season has been so tightly compressed that
Mm,
two match weeks can flip that into the table. So, like, it'll be like, oh, Fulham are down 12th. Yeah, they're 6 points off fifth, or 6 points off seventh. Sorry, now that top six has kind of started to create
yeah,
that
yeah,
space.
yeah.
But European football is going to go down to ninth position probably this year. Like the top five are going to get Champions League, sixth, seventh are going to get Europa. So eighth is going to have the conference, and depending on the FA Cup how that goes, it might get pushed down a position. Top eight looks achievable when you look at the bracket of teams that were in around. But the flip side of that is if you lose two more games on the trot, you're suddenly looking over your shoulder going,
And see
"Fuck!"
that they see that bottom
It's
line.
like, well, it's six
Yeah,
points clear of Spurs, but also 6 points behind Liverpool. You know that
yeah,
that's
you are kind
how
of
that's how
you're like
tight it
the
is.
yeah, the balancing what they call the balancing things, like
Oh, like the pendulums or
yeah,
the
yeah,
scales or
you
something
are
like
that
that.
kind of club at the moment, aren't you? I mean, they're basically
It's
settled in the
horrible.
mid-table zone,
Yeah,
and not in relegation danger, but also not pushing for Europe. It's a bit of a weird one.
look, if you gave
Like
any fan the opportunity at the start of the season and said 12th play finish, I think most Fulham fans would accept it because
yeah,
it's
I
very
mean,
similar
earlier in
to
the
what
season, you were
Brentford have
like
done.
kind of floating around ninth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
but a month
kind of
before that we
flirting
were
with that
17th.
Europe. Yeah, yeah. So it is like just a complete and odd roller coaster with Fulham at
Well,
the
here's
moment.
one for you, right? So before AFCON, I was having a right panic the week before AFCON because I was like, Bassey's gone, Chiqueze's hit form, and he's going, and Iwobi's going. I was like, that's our spine. Oh, we're in trouble. Anthony Robinson came back, and we did a 6 game unbeaten streak, including a win against Chelsea, a draw against Liverpool, and then this month came around, and it's like, four losses in the last five, and they're
Mm,
games where it's like we've grasped a loss from the hands of victory type thing. It's
yeah,
like Everton, Leno had a howler to change that from a 1-1 to a 2-1. It was just the game against Leeds, 97th minute, and
minute,
Cheka
yeah.
scores the goal. against Man United. Everybody has seen that one. You know, the Sesko finish from Bruno Fernandes in the 98th, 99th minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's
It's
the
them
fine
goals that
margins
hurt
we're
as well.
talking
It's
about.
them goals that hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and then we played City last week, and what's really upsetting about that is it's the City one is we have the current longest losing streak against a single team against City. So in the last 20 games against Man City, Fulham haven't even grasped a point out of those games.
so you've
It's
won one in your last four, which was
one
against
one in the
Brighton.
last four, and that was
Yeah,
against Brighton. Yeah, and it was, but all those other games with City as the exception, we 1-0 up against Everton, had the chance to put it to bed. They went down the other end, scored, and then Leno made an error 2-1, two
I
goals in
mean,
like
for
five
Fulham to
minutes.
play these teams in such like a you
Hmm.
know back to back. I mean, they're not easy teams to play, and this
No,
is why probably that it's just the
the nature of
level
the
of
game
how
though
you
is
are at the moment of why you've dropped so much. I think because of these teams that you've played in this stat of form.
it
I mean,
also there's also an element of something we talked about the last time that I was on, about like the way we buy players, the way we purchase players, because it was the same in January. It was like everybody under the sun knows we need a centre forward.
yep,
You know, Jimenez is 34. Bless him, he's doing his best, but he shouldn't be on the pitch 90 minutes a week. And you can see it as the games have got more compressed that he's not able to roll out week after week for 90 minutes. But
yeah,
Muniz
yeah,
has been injured. He's only back in the squad today for the FA Cup.
yeah.
Um, and having no secondary striker to be able to come in and alleviate that pressure. It was like we were out with this fella from PSV all month, and it was only the day before deadline day where the bid went in. You're like, "Do you know what, lads? Everybody, every fan, every player, everybody who's watched the team this year has gone. Even if you watch the game against Man United, they were like all the pundits were like, Jesus Christ, Fulham don't play a low block. And I was hearing, I was like, did you watch them at all? They don't play a low block. It's wide wing play football is what we
Mm,
play. Get it out to Harry Wilson, get it out to Awobi, get it out to Chukwueze, and get that ball lifted into the box.
yeah, yeah,
Jimenez
yeah,
was going up against a Maguire. Jimenez was going up against
yeah.
uh, a Tarkowski, aerial strikers, and we didn't have a replacement. And it's like, if you could have got that centre forward, I would have taken Chris Wood at that point. I was actually having that conversation with the boys. I was like, look, if I could take Chris Wood on a 6 month deal on a loan just to give us a body,
And I think you'd
I'd
be
take it.
laughing though, wouldn't you?
But that's
You
all
would
we're
be laughing
missing.
if you got that.
That's all we're missing was that second, another layer of the centre forward, because it was
Yeah,
so obvious in the game against Everton. Jimenez was in,
of
and
course.
his
It's
legs fell out his arse.
Yeah,
Just gassed.
this is when it comes to this back end of the season as well. You kind of need them like them other players that are going to step up for you
Hmm.
in moments like this because you can't just rely on the one player all season.
But the flip side of that is since the start of last year, Fulham have this weird thing where it's the most goals and assists from substitutes than any other team in the Premier League. Since the start of
Yeah,
last season, like it's a continued thing. But where that's coming from is like, oh, Kevin's having a bad game, bring in Chukwueze. Oh, Emma Smith Rowe's not playing well, bring on Josh King. Tom Carney can come into the midfield and defensive subs that are there. There's such Arsenal are probably the similar of a higher
yeah,
standard. A lot
yeah. I
of the
would
other
say so.
teams in the Premier League, especially the teams in around that mid pocket, it's like, okay, I'm taking off. I don't know. Let's use Everton as an example. I'm taking off Jack Grealish, and you're kind of going, well, the fella who's coming on for him isn't of the same level. Where Fulham are good in that sense is like, oh, Chukwueze's not having a good game. Alex Iwobi can come in.
Yeah,
Chukwueze can come in. There's a sidestep in quality where it's been sorely lacking is in the number nine position. Sorely lacking in the number nine position, and it's told over the last few weeks. And you can see it in our goal return. Like we're okay. In terms of teams that we're in around, we've scored more than Everton. We've scored the same as Newcastle, but Newcastle's front line is a lot more stacked than ours. But we've scored
yeah,
less than Spurs.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's probably a good point to put out there.
Do you
I mean,
know?
everyone's probably scored less than Spurs, like.
Like Spurs have scored 36, we've scored 35. And you're like, they have no fit attackers. And you're like, that give us, and we're screaming at like, the club going, give us a fucking
Yeah,
centre
what I
forward
mean
who
is
can
the
put
other way
in.
around. Sorry.
Yeah,
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 it'd
yeah.
be like yeah,
Like the other teams that are below us are, in terms of goals scored, are Sunderland, who are a defensive unit team, Crystal Palace, who the club has fallen out of the back,
yeah,
Forest, West Ham, Burnley, Wolves. So in terms of goals scored, we're like sixth from the bottom. Like
Yeah,
defensively, we're fine. What happens there is like the games we lose badly, like the City game, 3-0, 3-0 in the
yeah,
cruise. City are like our white whales. But it's City, so we'll move on from that. It's not a big deal. But it's that shitty one, like the Leeds game. Oh, I
yeah,
watched that just going, oh my God, lads, please. How many more chances do we need here?
yeah. I mean, look, let's just talk about your last four games. Is like
Yeah,
just the is this just a bad run, you think, of form? Or is
yeah.
this like Fulham's true level of what like's coming out?
No, because I was saying like just before that, right? So like if we look at the period, I'm just going to take one step back, let's say, right? So
Mm,
from the start of November, it was beat Wolves, lose to Everton, beat Sunderland, beat Spurs, have a 5-4 loss to City, lose to Palace, beat Burnley, beat Forest, beat West Ham, draw to Palace, draw to Liverpool, beat Chelsea, and then you know what I mean? That's one loss in eight in that run. And then
mm,
you get into this going injury time loss to Leeds, beat Brighton, handy, whatever. Lose to Man United in also in
yeah.
injury time. Lose to Everton late in the game. You're
Mm,
talking 3 out of 4 of those games where you've lost the game after the 85th minute, and it's
yeah,
because you didn't
yeah,
take
yeah.
your chances when you were the team in the ascendancy. So I think it's a case of the players are there, the abilities there. I think Rodrigo Muniz being fit again is going to be huge because like the quality of chances that they're creating is up there. But a gassed 34-year-old Jimenez who is wrecked from playing week in, week out, physical, and you can see it. It's like he's getting onto the end of things and he's blowing, he's gassed, he's
This is what we're saying, isn't it? Because it's what you're saying before. Like, so you're like this defensively inconsistency, but
yeah.
also at the same time negative like goal difference because you haven't got
Mm.
the, So it's kind of a balance of both things at the same time.
Yeah,
Um, it's
awful
yeah,
frustrating to watch when
just
you're like, we
can't
know
like
we can.
sustain like a winning run because of
Yeah,
what you've got at the moment. It's just how I mean, a lot of mid-table teams are at this stage anyway, and they're
yeah.
probably in the same boat. Um, but there
And
has to
my
be
fear is
like
going
a
forward
thought in the
is that,
back of these players' head that they can just in touch of like a conference league spot, which would do
there's even
massively for the club.
I'd be even telling them, it's like, lads, there's a Europa League spot there to take. Because if you
Yeah,
look at the run of fixtures that are coming up, it's like 6 points behind Brentford. Okay, that's doable. 3 points behind Everton in the eighth spot. That's doable. That's more than doable. If you
mm,
told anybody that Brentford and Everton were going to be seventh and eighth at the start of the season, we'd all be telling you, check yourself in somewhere because you're off your
yeah.
head. Like, it's mental to think. And like
Is there a
the other
clear
thing,
identity? Is there a clear identity under Marco Silva, you think,
oh
with
yeah,
Fulham? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Because I had this
yeah.
conversation with a Spurs fan, right? With a Spurs fan that comes on the show. And I said to Johnny, I said, we was going through a list of managers that um he would take. And I said, all about Marco Silva. He said, no, he can off. Do you know what I mean? Like he's
Mm,
another clown. And I'm like, oh, you took on Thomas Frank, and you thought the style of play, the football that they did, was brilliant under him. But let alone did we not think that it was just the players that were just good, and it wasn't actually the manager at the end of the
mm.
day. But is it? Do you reckon this would be the case with Marco Silva if he actually left and you got someone else? It'd just be exactly the same, and you would be like still
Um,
sustaining that kind of level of football.
no, to be honest with
You
you, no,
you think you'd
because
drop off?
before Marco Silva, we were in that yo-yo sphere of the team that went down, came back up, went down, came back up. Like he was very, very good. Like he came in as the championship in the season that Mitrovic scored the 44
Mm,
goals in the championship. He put the arm around him. Like the thing is, the way Fulham play, even the way they purchase, there is an identity now, but I think he's the one who's implemented it. Like look at the profile of fullbacks. It's Tete on one side, Castagna is his backup, and on the other
yeah.
side, it's Anthony Robinson and Sessegnon. Those boys are sole job in terms of attacking play is
Mm,
whip it. And Anthony Robinson, for me, outside of Cucurella, is the second best left back in the Premier League and has been
yeah.
for 2 years. I think any team looking at a left back over the last, I couldn't believe Liverpool went for Kirkes over Robinson. I was like, he is the Andy Robertson direct replacement. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And then in the
Yeah.
midfield on the wingers, it's industrious guys. It's Harry Wilson, it's Iwobi, it's Kevin, it's Chukwueze. They're runners. it's wide man play. So it was really pissing me off, we'll say, in the last 2 weeks when I was hearing about City coming and Man United coming and going, it's the character, and it was like, oh, their big test is going to be against team like Fulham who play a low block. Have you fucking watched us? We don't play a low block. We that's
Yeah.
not how we play football. And
But this
it's
is how
there's this
football's
like
just become because they think because fans and pundits they watch football and they just think that every team is just low blocking that's like a
mm,
Fulham and that. But it's not. That's not the case. You know,
we don't actually play
it's both
a
sides of
lot.
the both sides of play. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not just because you're low blocking. You know what I mean? It's
But we don't play a low block at all in the first
no,
place.
no.
That was the
Yeah, yeah.
thing. It's literally our style of football is counter, like it's counter, it's speed, it's but it's also, you know, get forward. It's not this like Everton-esque style. It's not this Burnley Nottingham Forest, which is 18-yard box and hold the line. It's
Sometimes you'll wait for a counter attack and then it does pierce them. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll
yeah,
sit back and then you'll just wait for an encounter. It's not a
yeah.
low block. You know, but
Like
you're just
we're kind of
waiting.
like a, if you were to kind of, I suppose, base it, you're probably saying a mid block type team. We try to congest the midfield and win the ball there and spring from there, so that the two attacking style fullbacks can make the ball. And I think this is where, like, the likes of the Spurs fans saying, "Oh, I wouldn't want Marco Silva." It's like, you haven't watched this team play football. We play football. You'd rather go Iriola because he's a sexy name, not
Yeah,
because you've actually watched
yeah.
any Bournemouth football. Bournemouth went 13 games without a win. Crystal Palace went 16 games, I think, now without a win. But Glasner's the next coming of Jesus. Come off it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
because
nice.
they're not a fashionable club. It's a, oh yeah, you yo-yoed up and down. Yeah, and we've been in the Premier League 3 years, and it's been like, stayed in,
For
improved, improved.
yeah, yeah, of course. Thoughts on Harry Wilson? Um,
I love him.
yeah, no,
He's gone in the summer
leading
though.
goals and assists like at the club at the moment.
Yeah, 8-4. He's gone in the summer though. I hate to say it. He's gone. Look, he's on a free transfer. He's going to get a nice big cheeky signing on bonus somewhere. I think for his career personally, he'd be stupid to go. I think he's nicely settled there. But then again, you're going to see a team like an Everton. You're going to see a team like probably a Villa. Villa could
It's so
probably be a
football
good
can be
fit for
so
him.
cruel sometimes, I think, because no, because these teams like as Fulham or your mid-table teams and that they get so picked at by the bigger clubs and that, and it's just
Yeah,
because of the ambition that they want to go off and win stuff and do stuff, and
cool.
this is why football's so cruel because you just start building on something, and then you get kicked back down because
Look,
everyone's just going to
I
fish
I'd
for your
probably accept
players.
it. Like, he came through the Liverpool Academy, right? And we bought him in the Championship for what was then a record in the Championship, 12 million up to 15. That record was only beaten this season in the Championship, by the way, in terms of record for a Championship signing.
Yeah,
Um, if he was to go to a team of that ilk, I'd be like, yeah, off you pop, mate. Go for it. Go do yourself proud. But if you're going to jump from Fulham to Everton or Fulham to Bournemouth or Fulham to Villa, it's kind of like, like, are you going to get enough time on the bank? Are you good? It's You're settled there. You're having a good time there. Stay there where you're playing good football. Give him a contract that is in line with the other high earners in the club because he's still on the wage he was on when they signed him in the Championship 4 years ago. So
mm,
give him a wage in line with Bernd Leno. Give him a wage in line with Iwobi. And but I think they were future proofing this by probably my favourites. I know I'm biased. Obviously, I'm biased. But I think the best signing in the January window outside of Gahey and Semenyo was Oscar Bob going to Fulham. The price is
yeah,
class. The age is
yeah,
class. He's a great player. I think he's coming in to essentially take Harry Wilson's spot when he goes in the summer. I think
yeah,
that's forward planning. That's my thought process. But at what was it, 22, 24 million or something like that? It's a great price. Pep didn't want him to go. Pep played him religiously before he had that bad injury last year. But look at his perspective. Since he got injured, they brought in Reinders, they brought in Shirky, they brought in Semenyo.
yeah,
If you're a 22-year-old player, you're kind of going, right, I need to go play football. So I think he's going to be a wonderful, wonderful signing. I think
yeah,
he's the future proofing for the Harry Wilson piece. But I see Harry Wilson ending up playing for Everton next season, which I think will be stupid but do what you're going to do at the end of the day. I think it's fun
yeah,
being
yeah.
a
It's
fan of these type of clubs. There's certain things when players, like last year when Joe Palhinha went to Bayern Munich, I was like, fuck yeah, off you go. Go you deserve this move. You deserve to go play at this level.
course,
It
yeah,
didn't work out for him because Joshua Kimmich. So what are you gonna do?
yeah,
There's
yeah.
levels to this. He got injured. Joshua Kimmich took his spot back, and anybody who watches Barcelona at all, or anybody who doesn't even know Barcelona at all, knows Joshua Kimmich is a baller. So
Yeah, give Harley, yeah.
what are you gonna do? But it is the table's this compressed now. It's two wins suddenly put you seventh, but two losses suddenly has you 16th. Like it's
So do you
precarious.
think you think you're safe, but you're not threatening at the same time?
Well, like let's look at the our next run of fixtures, like the next 4 games, next five
Well, I
games,
was going to
man.
get into that now, actually, to be fair, because obviously you've got Sunderland next, right?
Mhm.
And it's not the game that I really want to push on, but I mean you're away. Sunderland are a bit of a tricky team. They are like in a good spot as well. I think
They are.
a lot of people suspected them to go down, which isn't the case now.
I think it's a good time to play them. I actually
It
think it's a
probably
good
is a
time to
good
play
time to
them.
play them. Did they not just lose their last
They
game?
they did, and it was their first home loss. So they were the only team who had gone unbeaten at home up until
That's
last
right.
week.
Yeah, yeah,
Now that record is gone, but statistically, they're also safe to stay in the Premier League. So if you were to say, as a Sunderland player, Sunderland manager, Sunderland fan, job done. What we came to achieve this year, we've done. Let's go to the beach. Let's go have a
yeah.
party. We've
Just
achieved
gonna
what
have a
we've set
party.
out to
Yeah,
do. Like
yeah,
they're going to remember what was it 6 weeks ago? They were fourth. They've been
yeah,
slowly sliding back. That's what a team
yeah.
like
Of
this is going
course.
to do. Now that they've lost this home record, I think it's a good time to play them. After that, you have Spurs at home, you have West Ham at home,
Well, this
you
is
have
what I was going
Forest
to say
away.
now, right? And it's
It's next
very
5 games.
interesting, right? It's very interesting these next couple 4 games after Sunderland because
Yeah,
you're potentially writing out the story for this relegation battle at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? Whatever
yeah.
happens at your place, like, is kind of like because you've got not only have you got Tottenham, you've got West Ham, you've got Forest who have just got a brand new manager as well, by the way.
Who's a donkey, by the way?
Yeah,
Zero rating for him.
and then you've got Burnley. I mean, if
Yeah,
they are not interesting fixtures to watch at the bottom of the Premier League, and anyone says that's boring, then they're not a football fan because
they're not a football fan.
that right there is like a brilliant run of games for Fulham to have, and
And
against
three of the
every
four of
single
them at
team
home.
that are fighting. Yeah, yeah, and three
And
of
we're
them you're at
brilliant
home.
at home. We're
That's what I'm
brilliant at
saying.
home.
And
We're what,
I feel like
fourth,
Fulham are
fifth
this
list?
team that like upset other teams.
Yeah.
When you like you don't know what you're gonna get with Fulham, but they always like have a little like trick up their sleeve that just like puts like a a manhole in the road like where you can slip up.
Look, I think the best example is when we play the big teams because it's televised and people can actually see what they're up to. It's like after the Man
Mm.
United game, I had loads of my mates who are Man United fans going, "Oh fuck, all right, I actually
Yeah,
get
yeah,
what you
yeah,
see now about Robinson." And I was like, Sanderberg is going to keep Bruno in his pocket, and they're like,
yeah,
no, he's not." And then after the game, they're like, "Yeah, he got away from him once and won the game." I was like, "Yeah, but he
yeah. Of
only got away once, point proven."
course, yeah,
And they're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Yeah, no, I get it." But like Spurs at home, we're fantastic at home,
yeah,
fantastic
yeah,
at home.
yeah.
The only issue there is going to be this new manager bounce. Um, I actually like the idea of who they've brought in to, as much as it's probably unpopular. He's a pure Italian firefighter type manager. I know he's Croatian, but
Yeah,
he
I mean,
comes from that
it all
Italian school.
depends as well how Tottenham play against us. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got us before yous. If we absolutely like steamroll them, I don't think it's going to be as easy as that because a new manager bounce. But if we do, then
I
it
think
makes it
this is going to
harder, I
be
think, for Fulham because Tottenham are going to look for that next win. I
no.
think.
I actually disagree on this, and slightly just for one reason. It's very similar to the what you see with certain teams. This type of manager who has his background in like sown in Italian football, like Juve, Roma, Udinese. He's going to go Italian school of football, aka the Catensio defensive structure. That is going to be fine playing against a team like Arsenal who are going to want to come out and at you, but against teams like Fulham who will be like, okay, let's go tit for
Mm,
tat. That
yeah,
but like Spurs cannot sit at the 18 year. Like you lost to Man United there a month ago, and it was a case of they were able to sit at the edge of their box and nobody was going to bitch about it. But if they went tit for tat in that game, they'd have got battered. You know,
yeah,
um, that's how Spurs are going to play against you. But Spurs against us cannot,
yeah,
cannot do that type of football. So I
yeah.
think we have a better chance of picking them off in those type of transitions. This is what kind of like the boxing analogy of styles make matches and shit like that. That kind of Italian school of our house is on fire, let's defend like our lives defending it.
So
Your
if you
coach created
let's
cottage.
obviously before we move into the next game, what score are you going to go for this game for the Tottenham one? Because this obviously this is defining like relegation battle zones, like so.
I think we'll. To be honest, I think we'll beat Spurs at home. I think we'll beat West Ham at home. I think, yeah, I think we'll beat West Ham at home, even though I know they're on a good run of form. But it's at home. That's what helps. Nottingham Forest away. God only knows. We're not the best away from home. That place could also be rocking in a relegation fight.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
that's the slippy one.
yeah.
And then I have my personal thing against Burnley. I'd love the idea of us battering Burnley and Scott Parker getting sacked because fuck him.
Brilliant, brilliant. So
I still haven't got over that team he relegated a few years back.
yeah, yeah. So look, obviously because these are defining moments, then. So like, what score are you going for the Tottenham game?
Ooh, I think like a 2-1, like both teams to score kind of vibe is kind of
Two
the route
one.
I'd go there.
And the
Yeah, I
West
think
Ham
it'll be
game?
West Ham have goal scorers now in Castellanos and Somerville. So again, probably it's both teams scoring type win. So maybe a 2-1, 3-1. That kind of seems to be
Yeah.
the vibe here.
Now
Forest.
you think Forest is going to be the tougher one because obviously you're away.
Yeah, it's at the City Ground. It's away. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. It's they'll have their new manager in for 3 weeks at this point. This could either be a case of they're bouncing and going, we have a chance of staying up, or they're going, we've had four managers this year and it's still on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
so the first one for me is defined by what happens for them over the next
mm,
2 or 3 weeks. I don't want to be going to a bouncing City Ground. If that
yeah.
place is rocking, oh fuck, that's not a good day for anybody. But
Get that?
if
Yeah,
they're like we've gone through four managers and it's still on fire, I will go up there and cruise them. So I think that one's going to really depend on Forest's neck. You know what I mean? If they get a couple of results and a bit of momentum behind them, you're going, oh, here we go.
yeah, yeah.
They need this result.
And the final one, Burnley. Obviously, you want to steamroll over them. You said like,
They're awful. They're relegated anyway. They're not playing for anything. The fact they haven't sacked Scott Parker yet is a miracle to me.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I think he's a championship manager. I think maybe they were trying to do the Vincent Company thing of let's stick with the plan here. Yeah, but Vincent Company has shown that he's a quality manager. Scott Parker
of
is now
course, yeah,
5 years a manager on his third relegation. So let's not.
yeah.
Have you
Okay,
seen
so what score are
the
you going
videos
for?
of
You're going
him
to go
with?
for a high scoring goal, score line?
Oh yeah. 2-3-0 kind of vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a
Okay,
nice,
clean
lovely
sheet and
Sunday.
that
I think
there.
that's a lovely Sunday morning kind of vibe.
So
Yeah.
out of all them results, you've got a good run of games that you're thinking that you should get like postpone, like and be safe by that point by
I
any
think
means, really.
if we can get 10 points from the next 5 games, I'd be very happy.
Happy, yeah, yeah. No, I
I
think
think ten
any
points
Fulham
from the
fan
next.
would be as
There's
well.
three wins, a draw, and the loss in the next five.
Yeah,
And
but
look at the profile of teams that you're around. You're going to get distance on Sunderland and Spurs and that, and you're going to
of
relegate
course,
Burnley
yeah,
officially in
yeah,
that time frame. So yeah,
yeah.
it'd be a
But
good run.
listen, it's been nice talking to you, mate. This is all
Yeah,
we've got time
anytime.
for. But
Brilliant.
look, I hope you. There's one team that I'm going to be looking at that I hope you smash. And we think we all know who that is.
I wonder who they are.
Burnley. But
Stoke are winning.
oh, Stoke are winning. Oh, what a way to end the show. Stoke are winning in the FA Cup.
Oh, it so
But
shows how what I
listen,
know, right?
John, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's an
Anytime,
absolute
buddy.
pleasure to have you on. Okay, and we hope to get you back on very soon. Maybe after these
Yeah,
fixtures, a couple of these fixtures are up.
that'd be
You've
epic.
been
We
what?
have you on the
And
2nd of May. We have you
yeah,
what
and I will
fourth
put
last
the
game?
link to Statdraft in the bottom of this
Yeah,
video as
that'd be
well.
awesome.
If you haven't already, head over to their show. They do loads of content about football as well, with many pundits of their own on their panel talking about different football games and different teams as well. So thank you very much, mate, for coming on the show. If you haven't already,
Anytime.
hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we shall see you again for another episode of 101 Fan Talk. Thank you very much, mate. Take care.
Thank you very much. Talk to you all again.